Okay, so one of the things we haven't gotten to yet is this clip between Elon Musk and this BBC reporter. This is so good. As you know, Elon Musk recently took control of Twitter.com. And I will say, while free speech has definitely improved over there, there is a blind spot on the new Elon-owned Twitter, and it's trans issues. If you make a comment about trans people that is even remotely questionable by, I don't even want to say, I guess the radical left, then you find yourself punished. And it's really, I don't understand what, and I've tagged Elon, I'm a nobody, but I've tagged Elon Musk, other people have as well, questioning like, hey, what's with the new Twitter not being able to allow for free discussion on trans issues? It is definitely a blind spot. I don't know who is at the controls behind the scenes there at the new Twitter that has that uber sensitivity, but it's there. And it's one thing that definitely needs to be cleaned up over there. But he sat down, Elon Musk, with the BBC. Now, the BBC reporter probably thought he was just going to come in there, ask his questions. And I'll tell you, Elon Musk did what needs to be done more often in these interviews. When you're sitting down in a hostile environment or you're asked these kinds of questions, which you're about to see, you got to force the issue. Make this person, whether this is in a sit-down interview with a celebrity, or whether this is in your daily life, whether it's a coworker or a friend or something, make them prove their hypothesis here. So this guy sits down and he starts asking Elon Musk about, oh my gosh, since you took over, oh, the hatefulness, oh, it's so bad now on Twitter. What is the deal? And Elon asks a very simple yet profound question like, all right, give me an example. I love this clip. Watch this.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just curious.
I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content.
Yeah, help me understand.
And I'm asking for specific examples.
Okay, pause this, please. Now, a good reporter would have prepared for this pushback, okay? And then he would have said, oh, like, for example, and then he would have yelled to the other room, oh, put up that tweet that I sent you that talked about the blah, blah, blah. And he would have these examples ready to show Elon when he sat down for this conversation. But too many times you have journalists, as we're going to call this guy, who sit down and don't expect any kind of pushback, don't expect to be questioned whatsoever. They just feel that whatever they say can go unchallenged. Elon Musk isn't playing that game, and I love this.
If something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only.
Okay, pause it. Okay, see that? That interviewer is sitting there with his freaking phone. He didn't come in there prepared to have this conversation. Granted, not everybody in the world spreads out, 500 pages of paper like I do. Obviously, I kill trees for show prep. This guy's got his phone. He's not taking this interview with one of the most influential persons in the world seriously. He's sitting there looking at his phone. No, let's see your examples. And I love that Elon just does not let go.
See more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Right.
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying...
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well...
That's a false.
No, what I claimed...
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not... I mean, right, and
literally
if you look at something
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that.
Don't change it.
Look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Let's move on, he says. And that interview did not last much longer. And not because Elon left early, because the reporter was just like, yeah, I think we should just wrap this up. I love it. I mean, you got to push back. Yeah. So I don't know anything about this reporter. I don't know how old he is. I don't know his background. I have no idea. But that guy right there is someone who has never been pushed back on in his life and probably in his education. He was just fact-checked in real time and had no answer, and it was absolutely beautiful. He would fit in perfectly with the Biden administration because that's what they do. They're asked a question, and they just spit out their talking points, and there's no pushback from the press, which, by the way, that press is they're getting restless there at the old Brady press room. That's going to be interesting when he comes back from Europe to see how things play out with the press and KJP, because I don't know how this woman goes to work every day for multiple reasons, but to have to deal with people that she has no answers for because she's not given the answers. She's given talking points, and then she flips to in her binder, big book of knowledge. Okay, now we're talking about this. But I tell you, back to the original point that I was making, when you're handed a false premise like that in your life, you got to push back. I mean, that's just beautiful. Hey, I'm a little concerned about where I'm torn, where crime prevention is headed in New York City. Did you see that, was it yesterday? Maybe it was earlier this week. The New York Police Department unveiled their new tools for crime fighting. Do we have pictures of some of the stuff that was unveiled, Kayla? Could we put that up there? I don't know. We have do we have the robots that are patrolling the streets now of New York City? The New York Police Department gearing up to deploy several new crime monitoring robots. Okay, so now there's the see, we've warned you about these dogs. I mean, these guys. That is going to be why do I think that it all ends with an army of the robot dogs just marching down city streets, neighborhood streets, just armed to the teeth. That's how it ends. That's how it ends. And Skynet is controlling them from afar. Because, by the way, we'll have to get into this tomorrow on Pat Gray Unleashed, but they have actually tasked AI with trying to come up with a way to destroy the planet and all life on. Can we stop typing that stuff in? We don't need to be giving the artificial intelligence a homework assignment, because one day they're going to come back and be like, okay, grade this, and I'd rather them not. But in New York City, Mayor Adams says we cannot be afraid of technology. If we were not willing to move forward and use technology to properly keep cities safe, then we will not keep up with those who are doing harmful things to hurt New York. So they've got the DigiDog, and you saw the other one, that guy right there. He's the K5. So that's the K5. All right, he's 5.5 feet high, travels up to 3 miles per hour. Woo-hoo. Equipped with 16 microphones, 4 wide-angle HD cameras, and sonar and LiDAR sensors. So it's no longer just hanging out on the lamppost in New York City. Nah, this guy is just rolling around here. The robot manufactured Silicon Valley by a company called Nightscope can also recognize license plates and mobile devices that have been previously entered into a database. Oh boy, buckle up. Starting in New York, and then it's going to branch out from there. So it was created originally to provide security guards with improved situational awareness and record evidence for criminal precautions. And of course, here we go. Here's the quote from the guy who runs the company. The robots are for observing and reporting. They're not intended to be offensive in their abilities. Yet. And you've seen those rolling around at places like Walmart. It's mentioned that Lowe's has those. But I love this. This is so New York. Some locals have already coined the futuristic tech snitch bots. That's perfect. That's perfect. Or when I went to interview with Glenn Beck originally back in 2009, I remember getting in the cab. I think it was at LaGuardia, headed to the interview, and the guy was asking me, so what brings you to town? I told him interview for a job. Oh, cool. Well, good luck. There's 3 things on this island, Manhattan. He's like, you got cops, you got bricks, and you got garbage. And that was absolutely accurate. So now, I don't know how many of these things that they have deployed, but you can imagine that's going to become a fixture. That's going to become part of the cityscape there.